So lately I've been seeing a lot of videos about African Americans sharing their not so good experiences, some horrible, that they've had in African countries and with Africans in the US. I wasn't originally planning to make any video on that, but then last week someone sent me one video of an elderly African American woman in Ghana voicing out her grievances or expressing her grievances about the way Ghanaians treat her in Ghana and telling other African Americans not to go to Ghana because they don't like us. So the person asked for my take on the video and I decided to make it the topic for today's episode and get the conversation going. So I'll share some parts of the video and I'll give my perspective on the issue.
Y'all invited us to come home, which by the thousands we did. We came running to Ghana. People sold their homes, moved out of their apartments, sold everything. Some people packed up containers and moved over here just to get over here and realize this is not our home. Y'all call us foreigners. Ghanaians call us that. We didn't make that word up. We didn't start calling ourselves that. We don't know that that's what y'all call the white people and the Chinese because we're not around them. But we know that that's what y'all call us. I ain't never heard the word before, Tabi, till I came to Ghana. Okay. Y'all invite us home. Let's talk about what y'all do to us. Starting from the fucking before we get to the airport, we got to have a visa that we pay for to even enter our home. We pay all this money for passports and visas to get here. We get to the airport, and as soon as you see a fucking blue passport, everybody's coming for us. Can you give me something small at the COVID place? You get to immigration. Can you give me something small? You get to baggage. Can you give me something small? A person grabbed a damn cart and put my bag on it and got mad because I gave him $5 because I only had hundreds because you come over here with hundreds to get the best, cash in rate. How about he looked at that and said, I don't want that. I said, what you mean you don't want it? I said, I want to know, what did you expect me to give you? He said, $10. I said, so you want me to give you over 100 CDs for picking up a bag, putting it in a cart? He don't know this is like my 5th time coming through the airport. I have never seen nowhere in any country or state where people have openly, it says $60 for foreigners, $30 for locals, okay? You go to Cocoon Park, and I don't remember the price. Let's say $200 for foreigners, because that's what y'all call us, $40 for locals. You go to the castle, it's $60 for foreigners, $10 for locals. I ain't never seen that nowhere.
So I'm going to address this issue from 3 main angles. I'm going to talk about it from 3 main angles. I'm going to talk about it from the angle of the Ghanaian government. I'm going to talk about it from the angle of the Ghanaian locals and from the angle of African Americans who plan to move to Ghana. So from the angle of the government, what has put the Ghanaian government under heat is that in 2019, they started an initiative called the Year of Return, where they invited African Americans to come back home to the motherland to make connections with their ancestral land. So the question the woman asked in the video is, if it's home, why are you charging us this? Why are you charging us for citizenship? Everything should just be free and easy for us because it's home, right? And first, I would like to ask, what measures did the Ghanaian government put in place to make things easy, to make the move easy for African Americans who wished to go back home as they were invited to do, right? So I know there were a lot of programs that year. Government officials, the president himself had programs to welcome the African Americans back home to Ghana. But what about the immigration? Is it right to expect a country to say, because come back home, we are going to make everything open for you, just come back and you get your citizenship? So what did the government put in place to make things easy for these people going back home? Now, to be fair to the government of Ghana, I did read about the Year of Return to try to understand how this thing happened. And they named the campaign in 2019 the Year of Return. So it was a year-long program where they had activities and everything. So I don't think there was a guarantee that after 2019, the government would devote so much time to welcoming people back home and all that. Yes, I think they created the atmosphere, they set the pace, hoping people would follow. But I didn't expect this to continue. From reading just like about the Year of Return from Google, Wikipedia. It didn't look like they were going to do this forever. It was an initiative they started to just encourage people to come out, to let people know that, hey, there's a country called Ghana. If you want to come back, we are here to help you. And then one sentence set up caught my eyes. I think the purpose of the year of return was to encourage African diasporas to come home to Ghana to settle and invest in the country, right? So I think they were quite honest about it. Return home and invest, right? It's a mutually beneficial thing. You come home, invest in the country, you get to call it your home. I don't think the government of Ghana was hiding anything or saying just come home, everything will be free. They were asking for value to be added to their country. So I'm also going to address one thing the woman mentioned in her video from the angle of the government, though she didn't. She spoke about different prices for, let's say, tourist destinations, right? I know it happens even in when you go to markets and all that. When they see you're a foreigner or you don't speak the local language, they try to give you higher prices, right? But let me address it from the angle of the government first. She said foreigners are charged a different price from the locals. So let's take a tourist sites like the castle, the slave castles in Ghana, right? These are old buildings and they are being maintained to keep a historic value. And all these things take money to achieve, to keep the buildings in the shape, in their original shape, to try to maintain the atmosphere, to get the experience you get when you go there, right? And it's expensive to do these things. Now, if they charge, foreigners are coming in with foreign currencies, obviously. So let's say African Americans earn in dollars and they come to spend in Ghana. So if you are charged, I don't know how much they charge now, but if let's say if you are charged 200 cedis to go to the castle, 200 cedis will come down to about $15, about 15, between 15 and $20. And that's not, and 200 cedis, 15 and $20, that's, I think it's not too much for an American to pay. But in the local currency, 200 cedis is a lot based on the income of the local people. It's a lot for the local people to pay that amount of money to go and see these places. Now, here's the case. We want the local people, we want Africans to know about Black history, to know about slavery, to know about the history or the history of the Black Americans, right? If the government is not making it easy for them to get access to these things and learn about it, then I don't know. The government, I'm not taking sides with the government. I'm bringing a new perspective that I've not seen anybody talk about in their videos. How can the local person afford to go to these places and learn about the things we all want to learn about if the prices are so high and they have to pay significant percentages of their income just to go see these places? So I think we should consider all these things when thinking about the differences in prices. It's $15 to you, but to them it's 200 cedis. The average government worker in Ghana will be earning about 2,000 cedis. And if they are using 10% of their income to go, $15 is not 10% of your income. Now, I'm going to move quickly to the Ghanaian local. So yes, corruption is a big problem the country has been trying to fix for a very long time. Bribery, corruption, the people in the country go through the same thing. We've been trying to fix it. We talk about it on radio, on TV. That's a big issue. I think that's usually the most important campaign promise political parties make. When we come, you're going to fight corruption. You're going to intensify the fight against corruption and all that, right? And so if you go to Ghana and you go through these things and you take it personally, they are doing it to you because you are a foreigner, then I think there's a little misunderstanding there, because it's a problem the Ghanaians in Ghana are also facing. It's not good. It's a problem. We all accept it's a problem. But saying it's happening to you because you're a foreigner, I think that's a misconception. And because it's a misconception, you're kind of misinforming other people about what Ghanaians think of African Americans. Now she said something about when you get to the airport, something small, it's not your blue passport that's making them ask for something small. Whether you hold a green passport or a blue passport, they are still going to ask you for something small, because they think if you are traveling, you are rich, you are wealthy to some extent, and they feel entitled to take some of your wealth. The rich should help the poor, so they consider themselves poor, and they want to take from you who they consider rich, saying the government should tax the rich more and spend on programs that will benefit the poor to bridge the inequality gap, right? But then they are going about it by themselves, and it's not a good experience to go through. I'm not justifying what they are doing. The behavior is not acceptable. It's not something you'd like to go through. But I'm trying to make a point that it's not because you have a blue passport or because you're a foreigner that they are doing that to you. If I go to Ghana today at the airport and I meet that same person is going to ask for something small from me. Not because I'm a foreigner, but because he thinks wealthy since I'm traveling from outside the country. So based on these 2 points I've made from the angle of the local Ghanaian or the Ghanaian local, I just want to say that Ghanaians don't hate African Americans. Nobody's sitting in Ghana selling this idea that African Americans are this, they are that, so we don't like them. I've never heard of anything like that in Ghana. What I've heard, so addressing other issues or other videos that I watched over the past few weeks, the videos were talking about how African immigrants in the US don't think much of the African Americans here because they think they are lazy. That's something I never heard in Ghana till I moved here a few years ago. So it's more of something that's happening in the US that should be addressed, and it's not the Ghanaian locals that don't or African locals that don't like you. It's the narrative is here in the US, so it should be addressed here and not taken out of context to African countries. Someone is training Africans not to like African Americans. I don't think there's anything like that. This is my opinion. Now, of course, there are some, I'm not going to deny, like some parts of hip hop culture, for example, the foul language, the dressing, what we see as inappropriate. We see that dressing as inappropriate because that's not our culture. So if someone dresses in that way, their parents are going to disapprove and all that. And that's something even African Americans here in the US show disapproval for. So I don't think it's Africans hate African Americans, they hate their culture. It's not that big. So now I'm going to turn to look at it from the angle of the African American who wants to move or who is planning to move to an African country or to Ghana in particular, since I'm doing a video on that, Ghana. Now, do your due diligence when you plan to move to any country, whether in Africa, whether in the Caribbean, in any part of the world. You don't just pack up and say, yay, they said we should come home, so we are coming home. Yes, home. It's home. They're saying it's home for you, but then that home has its own problems. So take your time, do your research, understand the local economy, understand the cultural system, the political system, understand the society you are going to, so that you will not be shocked at some things you see. So what I'll say is lower your expectations. You don't, Africa or African countries, it's not some utopia thing. It's not like some perfect world you are moving to that's going to solve everything, all the things you are facing here in the US. You go there, it's no longer there. Yes, it might not be there, but then expect different problems from there. Problems that are local to a country. Every country has its own peculiar problems. So just know that you're not going to a perfect place and prepare for that. And also don't expect the local Africans to bend their culture to meet your American standards. That would be unfair to do because they've been living in their country forever. And then you come in, if they invite you to come to their home, you don't take your culture to them and expect them to meet your standards. You have to be ready to live among them and try to understand how they live and be one of them, right? If there are things you don't like, there are ways to address them to help so that they understand that, yes, this person doesn't like this. And it's an individual thing, right? You go, you make friends, you talk to people, you do things, and things will move more smoothly than if you go expecting to live an American life in Ghana. Also, remember, social media affords everybody the opportunity to express their views, right? And everybody's views is colored by their experiences, their life experiences, even mine. So what I'm telling you right now is because of the experiences I've had in the past, what I've read, what I know. Don't take my word for it. Listen to other people and find what works for you. Take every piece of advice with a grain of salt. Don't just say, this person said this, so I believe the person and I'm going. That's the person's experience, right? Don't let someone's experiences stop you from living your own experience. Yes, you'll use it to guide yourself. You'll use it to shape your decisions. If you're going to take a decision to move to a country and someone is saying, I had this experience, and another person is saying this and that, you know what you're looking for. You know what you are going for. If you make up your mind, I'm going for this and that, and you go and it's not what you're looking for. There are over 50 African countries. So you choose the one that fits your personality, your needs, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, then you live there. You don't listen to someone's experiences. Maybe Ghana is not a good fit to that woman. Nigeria might be a good fit. South Africa might be a good fit. That's for her. Your life is different. Your aspirations are different. You go and you might enjoy living in Tanzania. You might enjoy living in Kenya. Take your time and make the decision before you do things and move out of the US and make another country your home. This is where I'm going to end the discussion for today. I hope you got something from the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please to other people you think might benefit from the information in this video. And yes, subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.